Muy buenas tardes, estimados estudiantes. Mi nombre es Cristina Peña Rodríguez. Un gusto saludarles. Soy asesor virtual o facilitador del módulo 6 y 7 del idioma inglés. Voy a dar una pequeña introducción explicada en español, muy breve, y posteriormente toda la sesión será transmitida en el idioma inglés, por la cuestión que ustedes saben que tenemos que abocarnos a esta parte del idioma inglés, acercarlos en cuanto sea más, lo más posible al idioma. Bueno, les comentaba, esta tercera semana vamos a estar trabajando un poquito acerca de todas las actividades que vamos a desarrollar, así como también vamos a estar hablando un poquito acerca de sus participaciones en el foro. Bueno, los comentarios generales son, recuerden, ustedes ya han llegado tan lejos hasta aquí en el paso número 6, han avanzado poco a poco y así van a seguir. Les invitamos, como siempre, a tratar de ser lo más apegados siempre a los valores, a evitar el plagio, a ser originales, a trabajar por ustedes mismos y bueno, tratar siempre de entregar en tiempo. Recuerden que hay tiempos de calificación, tiempos para extensiones. Tratamos también de evitar el uso del traductor. Les recomendamos también siempre fijarse mucho en la cuestión de los audios, que son muy importantes para su calificación. Y por lo tanto, pues es verificar que estén listos para que su calificación no se vea afectada. Estas son las recomendaciones generales. Más adelante les estaré presentando el material que ustedes van a desarrollar. Y este material está plasmado en unas infografías, pero estas están explicadas o hechas en español. Sin embargo, yo las explicaré en inglés. Con mucho gusto, si hay espectadores al final de la sesión, podré tener una sesión de preguntas y respuestas. Muchas gracias y comenzamos. Well, good afternoon. Thank you so much. My name is teacher Cristina Peña Rodríguez. Welcome. Nice to meet you. Okay, today we are going to start working with some of the activities that we are going to be developing during this third week. Okay, so for that purpose, I'm going to be sharing the screen with all of you, and I'm going to try to explain all of the activities that you are going to be doing in this third week. Okay, so thank you. I'm going to start sharing the screen. Okay, well, as you can see here, we have the platform, and we have week number 1, week number 2, and week number 3. Well, as always, I'm going to start working a little bit with the previous week that it was number 2. And I have to tell you that during that week, okay, you were working with many different kind of activities, okay, that are going to be recycling at the end of the module. So that's important that all this knowledge or this grammar and vocabulary that you already know, keep or try to keep it in your mind and use it when necessary. Okay, so according to, for example, Be My Guest, we were working with many adjectives, many prepositions in order to try to set up where the things around my house are, okay? And in this activity number 4 in week number 2, okay, come to my house, it was related to a map, okay, in order to give the directions how I can arrive to certain or different kind of places. So the same, okay, I am always inviting you to try to be very specific, give as much as possible many details, and I guess this is going to be very helpful for you. Well, let's see. Let's move on to the week number 3 that we have over here. Well, the name of the unit is Hobbies and Abilities, okay? Unit number 3, Hobbies and Abilities. As the name says, hobbies is all the things that you can do, okay? And also abilities, the things that you can do, and also the things that you like to do or you don't like or dislike to do. Okay, remember that we have here a source that is called the guide. Over here in the guide, you can be working with many different, different kind of tips in which you are going to know what are the things that you are going to be doing step by step. And this is very methodologic. And I guess if you can check this out in advance, this is going to be very helpful because, okay, you are going to be working day after day and you are not going to be having any troubles for sending your activities on time. So this is very useful, okay? And remember, try to avoid, okay, try to avoid all the doing the things in the last day to the last minute, okay? Well, let's see. What else we have to have over here? I'm sorry, I am not in the right place. I am here. Sorry. Well, then let's move on again, okay, to another activity that we have over here. So the vocabulary, it's going to be related obviously to these two activities that are here: applying for a job and finding a roommate, okay? And also the learning forum is going to be very helpful because you can practice all the knowledge about the grammar and vocabulary related to all these activities, okay? Well, let's check a little bit about the vocabulary that we have here. Okay, so as you can see here, we have vocabulary related to hobbies. Okay, all the things that you can do or you like to do or you dislike to do. For example, okay, swimming, running, tennis, skateboarding, scuba diving, soccer, gymnastics, basketball, squash, golf, tennis, water polo, boxing, biking, skateboarding, rowing, jogging, bowling, and hunting. Okay, I'm going to give you just an example with the auxiliaries that you are going to be using during your activities. For example, I can say, I can play basketball, but I can play squash. Or I like boxing, but I dislike biking. I hate biking, or I love jogging. Okay. Or I can say, for example, my husband, he likes diving, but he hates playing soccer. Okay. So let's move on a little bit. Okay. When we are talking about different kind of hobbies, we have many different kind of activities over here. As you can see here, we have fishing, reading, writing, listening to music, cooking, camping, go fishing, go cooking, etc. Let's move on. Well, guys, we are going to be working a little bit with different vocabulary related to the calendar. We are going to have here, for example, the year. We are in 2020, and many different days and the month of the year and the weeks and so on. Okay, so as we are going to be talking about the different kind of activities or our daily activities or routines, okay, we have here, for example, a clock and a watch. A clock is the one that you are going to stick on your wall, and the watch is the one that you are going to be using in your wrist, into your hand. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the hour, the minutes, and the seconds. Okay, a clock, a quarter, and a half. A half is over here. Okay, because the picture is wrong. The half is gonna be here down. Okay, well, let's move on. And we have, for example, the days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, I'm going to give you a micro example about my routine. For example, I can say, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to go to StreamYard, and I'm going to be telling you the following thing. For example, my routine. I always, okay, we are going to be talking about the frequency of the activities that normally we do. For example, I'm going to use always and never or sometimes, okay? I always wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, or I never wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, or sometimes I wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, okay? So what about if we are talking about the third person in affirmative in singular? Who are the third person in affirmative in singular? We are talking about he or she. For example, I'm going to be talking about, for example, my brother, okay? That the pronoun is he, okay? I'm going to be telling you, for example, he sometimes eats, okay, at 3 p.m., okay? Or he never works on Sundays. Or my sister, she rarely wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, remember that we are going to be talking about habits and routines and the rules for he and she. Remember that we have very specific rules for them. Okay, so one of the rules is that you are going to be adding the letter S or the letter ES. And this is pretty important, okay? If you are going to be talking about he or she, for example, works, plays, runs, okay? And what about if you are talking about the verb go or do? Okay, he goes, she does. And in a minute, I'm going to explain you a little bit more about it, okay? Well, I'm going to continue, okay, sharing the screen. I'm going to continue sharing the screen in order to show you a little bit more about the vocabulary and things that are here. Okay, so talking about the daily routine, okay, so you can see here many different kind of sources that we have here as a video, okay, or okay, for example, you have here many different kind of practices or exercises. And for example, when we are talking about the present, okay, so we have, for example, I always watch television, or she never watches television, or he always likes to listen to music at night. Okay, so as you can see here, we have okay, many different kind of verbs in which we can express the different kind of activities that we have during a day. Okay, well, let's move on a little bit more. Okay, if you want to listen to, okay, you have to click on here.
To brush.
And okay, to brush, for example, I brush my what is brush? My teeth. Okay, so what to dance? Okay, she never dance alone. Okay, etc. We have many different kind of verbs over here. Okay, well, let's move on. Okay, remember that we are talking about the present tense. When we are going to be talking about the things that we are good at, for example, the things that we can do, okay, we are going to use the auxiliary or the modal auxiliary that is can or can't, okay? So we are going to use this, for example. For all of them, the auxiliary is going to be the same. For example, he can play or I can play. There is not going to be any change at all. Okay, and over here, for example, in a negative sentence, we can say can't or cannot, and it's the same for all of them. For example, she cannot play or she can't play. Okay, when we want to ask a question, we are going to use at the beginning the auxiliary or the modal one that is can, and then personal pronoun, then the verb in simple form and the complement. For example, can we ride a motorcycle? And the intonation is going to be raising up at the end. Can we ride a motorcycle? And okay, well, this is all about the auxiliary can. What else? Well, different kind of abilities. We can have different kinds. For example, the physical ones that we do, the cognitive ones, and the social abilities. For example, I can do gymnastic, I can jump, I can play. What about the things that in which we have to relate our abilities when we think, when we are processing something in our brains? For example, Kevin can do a crossword very fast, or my teacher can remember all my classmates' names. Okay. Well, what about the social abilities? Okay, my brother can make friends easily. He is very sociable. Or Janet can give good presentations. Okay, so remember that the abilities are going to be divided in three: in physicals, cognitives, and social abilities. Well, let's move on a little bit. And what else? Okay, this is very, very important when we are talking about the things that you like or dislike or you hate or you love. Okay, so let's start working over here. Okay, we are going to find many different sources, for example, audios, in order to check the correct pronunciation. Then we have, for example, these verbs that are so important: the verb like, dislike, love, and hate. The majority of them are going to be using something that is called gerunds. A gerund is something that it's like a noun, okay, and in Spanish is when the verb has the ending ing or ing in English, okay, and you can also use nouns or verbs. For example, I like vegetables. My brother loves driving. Can you see here? The verb loves, okay, it has a letter S because we are talking about a mother. My mother is the third person in singular, okay? She loves with the letter S, and after the verb love, we are going to use a gerund. A gerund, it's a verb that ends in ing. So, my mother loves driving. Then we have another one that is my brother dislikes spider. Okay, can you see the difference here? Okay, we are talking here about an activity, and here we are talking about a noun, and a spider. Okay, so remember, when we are talking about she, is with the letter S. When we are talking about he, is the verb plus the letter S. For example, loves, dislikes. And it can be in a gerund or with a noun. Okay, what about the verb hate? Okay, in this case, it's a man, so we are going to say he hates onions. Okay, well, let's see. We are going to now talking about something that you don't like or dislike. Okay, for example, okay, check this out. Check the difference are so important. The difference are so important. When I say, okay, when I am talking about myself, okay, I say I like swimming.
I like swimming.
But check the pronunciation in this sentence. When we are talking about he or she, in this case, my sister is she, okay, we have to add to the pronunciation and in the written way the letter S. For example, my sister dislikes, okay, sushi.
My sister dislikes sushi.
Excellent. Now, what about, okay, my friend and I hate homework. Okay, we are not going to be adding a letter S over here because we are talking about us, okay? My friend and I, okay, are we or us. So, for that reason, we are not adding the letter S. Check this out.
My friend and I hate homework.
Okay, now over here, my father is he. Okay, so that's why we need to add the letter S. It is pretty important. So, my father loves cars.
My father loves cars.
Okay, the pronunciation of this is British. It sounds great, fabulous.
My father loves cars.
My father loves cars. Okay, well, let's move on. Okay, well, guys, when we are talking about, okay, a negative way, we are going to present to you the auxiliaries. And when we have the auxiliaries over here, it is pretty important because in English, we have this figure. In Spanish also we have auxiliaries, but they are not so common, okay? Or we didn't notice that they are there. But in English, we are always been using, okay, the auxiliaries. Check this out. For example, when we are talking about I, you, we, and they, we are going to be using the auxiliary do. But when we are talking about she, okay, we are going to be using the auxiliary thus. Okay, and if this is negative, we are going to be using the auxiliary plus the word not, doesn't. Okay, in a contraction, doesn't. Well, I was telling you, for example, here, I don't like pizza, or she doesn't love soda. Okay, so remember that we are, in order to try to save effort or saliva, okay, we can contract the words, okay, and this is going to be easy, okay. For example, okay, if we say I don't like pizza, okay, you can say I don't like instead of I do not like, okay. What about if we are talking about she? She does not love soda. And in a contraction, you are going to say, she doesn't love soda. Here, in a question and negative answers, we are going to be using the auxiliaries, and the auxiliaries are so important. Okay? Well, let's move on a little bit. For example, I don't like swimming. Listen.
I don't like swimming.
Okay? Check the difference. My sister doesn't dislike sushi. Okay,
My sister doesn't dislike sushi.
so the meaning of this is that she likes sushi. She doesn't dislike, she likes sushi. Okay?
My friend and I don't hate homework.
Okay. And my father, that is he, the auxiliary is going to be does, okay, in a contraction doesn't. Listen to.
My father doesn't love cars.
Okay, good. Well, let's move on a little bit. Okay, and what else are over here? We already do this. Okay, when we are talking about questions, okay, so what is going to be the correct position about the auxiliaries? As you remember, I told you that when we are going to create negative sentence or questions, we are going to use the auxiliaries. Over here, check this out. Okay, with you, the auxiliary is do. But what about the pronoun she? The auxiliary is going to be does. And check this out. We have here also a question word, okay? For example, what, where, when, why, etc. Okay, talking about this, the correct formula in order to create questions or so on is the right position at the beginning of the question word. For example, is what, then the auxiliary, then the personal pronoun, the verb in simple form. No letter S at all, because the letter S was replaced with the auxiliary does. Okay, what does she love? Okay, so she loves pizza, for example, but in an affirmative, you have to write the letter S. She loves pizza, but in the question, you don't need anymore the letter S because it was replaced with the auxiliary. Pay attention one more time. What does she love? Love. Okay? It doesn't matter we are talking about she. We have the auxiliary does. What does she love? She loves pizza. Okay? Okay. Let's move on. Does she like pizza? No, she doesn't like pizza. Yes, she likes pizza. No, she doesn't like pizza. Okay? Well, let's move on. Okay? Check the pronunciation. Okay, when we are talking about you, okay, the auxiliary is do.
Do you like swimming?
Do you like swimming? Yes, I like or I dislike.
Does your sister dislike sushi?
We are talking about your sister. What gender is your sister, or what pronoun is your sister? Your sister is she. So if we are talking about she, the auxiliary is going to be does.
Does your sister dislike sushi?
Does your sister dislike sushi? Yes, she hates sushi. Okay, or she loves sushi. Okay,
Do you hate homework?
more or less.
Does your father love cars?
Oh, yes, my father loves cars, but my father hates driving. Okay, more or less. Okay, this is pretty important. Okay, so and what about the short answers? For example, yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, she does. No, she doesn't. Okay, check this out. Check the samples.
Does she dislike cake? No, she doesn't.
Uh-huh.
Does your brother love her? Yes, he does.
Here is a simple easy rule. If you are asking with the auxiliary does, the answer must be answered with the auxiliary does. Okay, it is the rule. If you ask with do, you answer with do. If you ask with does, your answer is going to be with does. Okay, well, let's continue working a little bit. It is pretty important. It was pretty important. Okay, well, now we are going to be working a little bit now with the activities that are called, the first one, applying for a job and finding a roommate. Okay, for that purpose, okay, I'm going to be showing you, okay, over here in let me tell you, where is it? Okay, here. Okay, guys, I have for here for you a little micro present. Okay, this present I call you like this because these are called infographics and they are in Spanish. Okay, if you don't feel so comfortable or so confident now, you can use these infographics that are explained for you in Spanish, but I'm going to explain you this in English, okay? Because I am not allowed to speak Spanish anymore. Okay, well, what is the first thing that you have to do? Well, the first thing is you have to download the activity, okay, applying for a job. Then, as you can see there is a format, okay? In the format, you have to answer and paste a picture over there, okay? So, this is a direct question. The direct question is when you are going to answer in the same to the same person that you have in front of you. For example, what can you do? Okay, do you remember the previous examples? Okay, so for example, I can speak English, okay, and I can speak Spanish, okay, and I cannot speak German, for example, okay. So another example. What do you like to do? I like to eat strawberries. Or what do you hate to do? I hate eating. What I hate? I don't know. An apple. It's just an example. Okay. What do you love to do? I really love to play with my family, for example, right? Okay, well, let's move on. Okay, so you have to use the auxiliary can or can't. Okay, then like or dislike. And remember that after dislike, the verb must contain ing ending. Okay, I dislike working late. Okay, so please pay attention to that. It is pretty important. I'm sorry, my cell phone is ringing and I'm going to turn this up. I'm so sorry, I forgot to do that previously. Okay, and it's done. I'm sorry. Well, now let's move on a little bit. Okay, and okay, guys, don't forget that if you have doubts, you have a rubric over there. That it's pretty important to check this out in advance. Okay, and remember that you have to record your voice. Okay, when you record your voice, it is pretty important that use different kind of tools and recheck in advance that your audio is correct. That we as virtual advisors, we have the need to ask you for permission or things like that, because if not, your rate is going to be very low. Okay, so please try to do that in advance. I'm going to turn the lights on because it is pretty dark over here. I'm sorry. Well, I was telling you that okay, you have many sources over here. For example, how to record your voice through a tool that is called Vocaroo, and this is very useful. Okay, well, this is the activity number 5. I'm going to change now. I'm going to go to activity number 6. Okay, so guys, in this activity, it is pretty easy. Well, not pretty easy. It's pretty important that you pay attention that in this activity, we are not going to be talking about us. We are not going to be talking about the things that I like, okay? Remember, we are going to be talking about somebody else, okay? We are going to be talking about a girl or a boy, about Maria or about Jose, that they are going to be your possible roomies, your possible roommates, okay? And remember, check the format, okay? In the format, you are going to be using the questions in or about the third person, okay? Remember, the auxiliary for the questions are going to be does, and in negative sentence is going to be does, and the most important, when you are talking about affirmative sentences, you have to add the letter S or the letter ES in the verb, okay, in affirmative. Okay, check this out. The example, it says, okay, does he or she exercise regularly? And you're going to say, yes, she does exercise regularly. Another question, for example, does he take a shower regularly or every day? And the answer is, if this is affirmative, check this out. The letter ES. Yes, he always takes a shower every day. Okay? Or if this is negative, no, okay, he doesn't take a shower every day. Okay? What else? I'm going to give you. Let me look for. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and I'm going to go to look for a file that I have over here, in order to. Wait a minute, to give you an example. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where is it? I already have a file over here. Participación retro. Invitación. No lo encuentro. Tenía yo un archivo, permítanme buscarlo por favor, en Excel. No, era en Word. En Word. Aquí está. I'm sorry. Okay, I have over here a file that I would like to explain you a little bit, okay? So I'm going to share the screen one more time. Okay, and I'm going to go to this one. Okay, if you can see here, we have some rules for the third person in affirmative and the third person of singular. For example, we have to add the letter S. He plays, she runs, it walks. In negative, we are going to use, okay, the auxiliary does. He doesn't play. Or does he play? He plays, he doesn't play. But these are important rules also. For example, when the verb ends in sh or ch or x, or with the verb go, or with the verb do, okay, we are going to be, okay, adding, okay, es. For example, wash, washes, watch, watches, fix, fixes. Okay, go, goes, do, does. Okay, so it is pretty important, pretty important. For example, I was oh my God, yeah. For example, he always washes, he never washes, he fixes his car, he goes to work, he does his homework, etc. Okay, it is pretty important. Okay, and the rules for the verb like and dislike is the majority of them with ing, with gerund at the end. I like working, I dislike to work. It is possible with like. I dislike working. Okay, I dislike playing. I dislike oranges. I hate waking up early, and I hate walking so fast. Or I love playing chess, or I love running. I love running. And the rule over here is the double letter because it is consonant, vowel, consonant. Okay. Well, that's it. Well, I'm going to close this up. Yeah. Okay, sorry, over here. I was over here. And guys, we have here more examples. For example, does your brother eat tacos? Okay, this is the auxiliary, the personal pronoun, the verb in simple form, and the complement. And over here, when we have a question word, is the auxiliary, the personal pronoun, the verb, and the complement and the question word. Okay, so when it is affirmative, we are going to add the letter S or the letter ES. She reads a book. And remember that after that, you have to write down a micro paragraph about your possible roommate applying the rules in affirmative. And here, as always, you have the rubric if you would like to check this in advance. And also, we have here the sources or the tools if you need it in order to record your voice. Okay? Well, what else? In order to finish this session, I'm going to close the session by telling you a little bit about the forum. Okay, remember that during week number 1, 2, and 3, we are not using, well, sorry, we are not grading, okay, your attendance or your participation over here. But it is pretty important to participate because, okay, over here, it is like a way in which you can practice with all the grammar things that we are doing in the activities. Okay, well, as you can see here, we have the same. Okay, you have to tell us what you like, what you dislike, okay, or your daily routines or abilities. And we, as virtual advisors, we are going to be moderating the forum. Okay, please don't copy and paste. Okay, so be original and try to do your best effort. Okay, let's see. For example, Modesta. I like folk dance. I like to drink. I like to tidy my room. I like to watch TV. I dislike washing. I dislike to go out. Very well. Modesta, she did it very good. Okay, then another comment. Cristal, for example. I like to cook. I like to study. I like listening to music. I like reading novels. And things that she doesn't like is I dislike hot days. I dislike getting angry. I dislike saying bad words. Okay, very good participations over here. Okay, and skills. Okay. Um, mm, mm, mm. Okay, I first wake up at 5 o'clock and so on. Very good. There is no Spanish. They are trying to say hello. They are trying to say goodbye. They are trying to avoid fingers mistakes and so on. Okay. Well, we have here a little bit more. Okay. For example, here are two things that I hate to do. Remember, it's I hate doing. Okay. For example, washing the dish and washing my bathroom. Okay. Here he omitted the rule. I like to play or I like pledging. It is pretty important to know about the rules. Okay. Well, I'm going to give like a feedback, a micro feedback over here. Okay, check this out. For example, good afternoon, and dear students. Okay, thank you for your comments. Okay, I have noticed that you are applying the grammar rules in a correct way. In some cases, it could be a good idea to recheck the grammar. Okay, so I'm going to correct myself because I have some micro. In some cases, good idea to recheck in the correct way. Wait a minute, let me see. It could be a nice idea to recheck the grammar in advance. Okay, very good effort. Thank you. Thank you so much and best regards, my name, Cristina Peña. Okay, remember that it is pretty important to participate during these kind of forums because you are going to be practicing here. Okay, and let me see. For example, examples. Okay, I like to play, or I like uh, playing. Okay, I like to play, or I like playing, or I hate washing my clothes. Uh-huh. Okay, some examples. I like to play. This is infinitive. Okay, when we are using the particle to and or gerund when we are talking about a noun. Okay, well, and that's it. Okay, well, the time is over. I guess that's it's all for me today, and I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, well, there is nobody, okay, over there, so the session is over. I hope you can watch this session later on. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and that's it. Okay, best regards, Cristina Peña Rodriguez. See you. Bye bye.